DorkLair!
Welcome to another DorkLair action figure review. So even though the Joker doesn't even really appear in Gotham by Gaslight aside from a wanted poster, this is Mezco's take on that character, sort of what if the Joker were in the Victorian era. And even in the comic, there is that kind of tribute to, it kind of looks like the character in the horror movie, The Man Who Laughs, which is the original inspiration for the Joker. So you're getting that here as well. So that's a pretty cool little homage there to that old horror cinema. And this is very much is a horror figure. Like, this is a gruesome figure, and we'll get to the hands and all the tools and all that stuff in a minute. But I'm very impressed with this figure. It dropped almost out of nowhere. Like, they teased it at the San Diego Comic-Con event, like their Mezco Con, and then a couple days later it was up and it was shipping already. So it's coming into our hands long before the Gotham by Gaslight Batman ships. So that's pretty neat to get a figure like, you know, right out the door quickly. I know some people complain that Mezco is shipping stuff now and people have been waiting for other stuff, which is a valid, you know, gripe when you're sitting there waiting for a figure. But I'm happy. I don't mind the waits or whatever. It is what it is. And this figure is in hand and the other ones are not. So we're talking about this Joker. Very good figure. Lots of really neat pieces and parts and a lot of cool clothing, accessories, and some nice updates to the traditional Joker body that I'll get into as well. So without further ado, let's get into this review. As far as the packaging goes, I'd say this is about as basic as it gets. I mean, I like the writing and the lettering on it, but it is just a black box with the name. And usually the back of these exclusive boxes have artwork, and this one doesn't. It doesn't even have the sticker, which would probably be up here for the exclusive thing. So pretty simple box. I'm not impressed, but it is a smaller box, so it is easy to store if you're the type who likes to keep their packaging. Here's a closer look at that first neutral sort of head sculpt here. I like it. I heard people describe it as slightly big. I maybe agree a little bit to an extent, but I don't think it's out of scale or anything. It's just he's got a little bit of a bigger head. And nicely detailed. There definitely could be some cleaner lines where the hair meets the paint on the face. But I do love the eyes there. And he's got a nice expression. So pretty cool looking head sculpt there. And then here's a quick second look at the Man Who Laughs head sculpt. He's looking just off to his right a little bit, if you can see where his eyes are aiming. So that's kind of creepy, adds a little creepiness to it. It's kind of side-eyeing you. Taking a look at the suit itself, we've got this like short tie. It definitely feels kind of like something a Victorian would wear. Like, it's not quite the style we have these days. And then you have these suspender overall type pants, adding to that whole like butcher kind of thing that he has going on. Nice crisp white shirt there. Even has little holes in the back that you would expect this type of dress shirt to have. So the tailoring is nice. It looks really cool. Kind of looking down at the pants, as you get to the bottom, they're dirty, as if he's been doing some nasty business. And then down into the boots rise up a little bit, and they have a nice leathery look to them. And then a little look at the bottom of the boots there. Okay, let's take a look at the Joker next to a few other figures. First up, here he is next to the Clown Prince Joker with a custom coat that I have on there. And basically this is the tactical Batman with a few improvements. I have the Sovereign Knight cowl and head and a custom cape on there. And here you can see sort of that head size compared to the other Joker. Next up, here he is next to Nosferatu and Hellboy. I think he fits in there thematically well with those two. And finally, next to a couple other lines, we have a kit-bashed Mythic Legions figure on the left, pretty much a knight. And on the right, we have a Storm Collectibles Golden Axe skeleton. For accessories, starting off with the clothing, he comes with this butcher's apron that's got a very suede kind of feel to it. And it's got like blood splattered all over. So that's pretty cool. It's just got loose straps that you can tie around the back and one that goes around his neck. Very simple. Nicely executed. Like, there's nice stitching along the edge there. Very cool looking apron. This figure comes with a lot of cool accessories that you can mix and match with a lot of different figures, I think. And then he comes with this purple coat and it's got these little snaps that will close it up. I'd be careful with those. Like, I wouldn't just yank them apart. I would get your finger in there and you know, and try to pull them apart, not by the fabric, but just get a fingernail there and then one in there, and then pull it apart like that. But this is really nice. Again, it's got that kind of suede-y look, and it's definitely kind of dirty down along the bottom there. He's also got this scarf. It's not wired or anything, and it's kind of cheap, but you know, it's a nice addition to have, especially when you couple it with the coat. Okay, for hands, he's got a whole variety of different hands. Over here, with starting with the right hands, we have an open hand. We have a gripping hand that is supposed to, I think it's supposed to grip the auger-like tool or the drill bit tool through the middle there, but the fingers are connected. So I have to like use a razor blade or something to get that middle finger and ringing finger apart so that I can actually insert that tool in there. He's got another gripping hand on the right, and then all the rest are left hands. So a gesturing left hand, a pointing finger left hand, a clawing type left hand, another gripping hand, a gripping hand for, I think this was probably best for the cards or like, you know, maybe something else, maybe one of the smaller knives or something. And then he's got a pinky out, another good one for gripping the cards. And all of the left hands have the ha 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 little detail carved into them, which is creepy. And speaking of this hand with the gripping for the playing cards, or they're almost like tarot cards or something, because they're not traditional poker cards, but you have these 3 poker cards, and you have a bat on one, you have what looks like a beating heart, a human heart on another, and then you have like a demon or something on this one. So pretty finely little detailed pieces there. And here's what the back of the card looks like. And he comes with a pair of glasses. You can't see through the lenses, but they have like green lenses there. And they have these hooks that you can kind of position so that you can get them around his ears. Or at least not around his ears, but like behind his ears sort of. And then hook them in, and they stay on pretty well. Like, they fit nicely. So that's a pretty cool add-on there. And to go along with that, he's got his top hat that just kind of squeezes right on there. So very dapper Joker. And then finally, we have a really neat briefcase that has a lot of fine details, hinges, corners, reinforced corners. You have rivets there, little like locks and stuff. It's got his initials, JKK. And then when you open it up, it's full of tools. Butcher tools, as far as I can tell. Some of them have moving parts, like this one actually has opening clamp there. You've got a couple different knives, a hook. The hook and the whatever this is, like this drill sort of auger type piece for, I don't know what he's drilling a hole in, maybe a skull. Those should go in that hand, but because the hand is not separated at the fingertips there, I can't actually get this into that hand, but I feel like that's supposed to go into this hand. And then, so another knife, a little, I don't know, a hatchet, I guess, like a bone axe or something, and then like a saw for cutting through bone and whatnot. Again, all sorts of like butcher's type tools. I do kind of wish this wasn't the foam type of insert, because like the way John Wick's case came, like you could just like pop them in there and it looked kind of more realistic, but probably tough to do with this much of variety in the accessories. Of course, it also comes with the traditional stand and flight arm. Okay, finally for the articulation, and I just want to initially point out how the head is different from the usual Joker, which is the old Joker body. You would have the head that was attached to the neck that would kind of go deep down into the body there. But this is pretty cool because then you can actually do like head swaps on these figures and pop on the bag of skulls or whatever Gomez heads or whatever other kinds of heads and swaps you want to do with it. And that being said, it's actually not a ton of articulation in the head just because of the way the peg is recessed and you have the hair in the back kind of keeping it from looking up. So he can't look up a ton. You could sort of pop it off a little bit and have him looking up, but not a ton of upward motion. He does look down pretty good, and you can cock his head side to side quite a bit. The body itself is a lot like the original Joker with some improvements. The similarities is that there's no butterfly and there's no twist at the bicep. So I feel like the upper arm and upper chest area are very similar to the original Joker body. But then when you get into the elbows, it's a lot different. These go well past 90 degrees and they twist. So it's a little better range there in the elbows. Way more like crunch going on in the upper torso and the waist as well. There's a lot more freedom of movement. This feels like it could be maybe the same as the Nosferatu body, perhaps, or a very similar version of the body as Nosferatu. You can twist at both points. So a lot of good crunch and arching backwards. His legs can kick forward and back. There is a thigh swivel. The knees are double jointed, and the ankles rock kind of at the top of the boot there. But there's a really good ankle rocker on these. He can point down a little bit, not much because of the high ankle, and then point up. So overall, this is definitely an improvement on the body and the articulation for the Joker figure, but still, I would probably have preferred it just be on the Gomez body. My personal preference. But still, definitely a lot of good improvements there over the original Joker figures. So yeah, overall, I'm very happy with this figure. It has a lot of just distinct styling, very unique, a lot of creative elements going into it. It's not just some copy. It's not some direct copy of anything. It is Mezco using their creative minds to make a new character, essentially. And yeah, I highly recommend this figure. I know it's still readily available. Like, you can pre-order it at Big Bad Toy Store. It had a nice big supply. Like, it took days to sell out directly from Mezco, so shouldn't be too hard to find right now. Although when that Batman comes out, I'd say you're gonna want to have this in hand before then, because the demand for this will go up as well. I have a feeling the demand for that Batman went up too when this dropped. So both of those are going to kind of like feed on each other. So wherever you can, whenever you can, if you want those Gotham by Gaslight figures, I would say jump on those as soon as possible. And lastly, I just want to apologize if this video is a little rough or a little long. It's been a while since I've made videos, and I'm hoping to kind of like weave some in here and there, and it takes a little while to get back into the swing of things. So pardon the rust. Thanks for watching my video, and until next time, may the Force be with you. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and until next time, may the Force be with you.
Follow me into the door.